I am 91 years old. For 38 years, I was a prison guard. I locked doors. I watched men break. I thought I understood what a cage looked like. I was wrong. Let me tell you something before I run out of time to tell it. I am not writing this for sympathy. I am writing this because I do not have many years left, and there is a truth I have carried for 6 decades that I need to put down before I go. You think the worst prison has bars? It doesn't. I started this job at 23, young, strong, sure of myself. I walked into that facility thinking I was the one with the keys. I thought freedom was something I had, and the men behind those doors were the ones who had lost it. Every morning, I walked past 100 cells. I heard the sounds: metal doors, quiet voices, sometimes crying, sometimes nothing at all, which was worse. I told myself I was just doing a job. Clock in, walk the halls, clock out. Go home, live my life. I thought I had time. Time to really live, time to fix things at home. Time to sit with my own children instead of just providing for them. Time to call my brother back. Time to forgive my father before he died. I told myself later. Always later. Later never came. For 38 years I watched other men lose their freedom. And the whole time I did not see that I was losing mine too, just in a different way. My cage did not have bars. It had a schedule, a paycheck, a routine I never questioned. I built walls out of habit, out of fear, out of comfort, and I called it a life. There was a man in my block, inmate for 20 years. One night, near the end of my shift, he said something to me through the bars that I never forgot. He said, "Guard, you go home every night, but do you ever really leave?" I laughed it off then. I did not understand what he meant. I understand now. I kept a mistake buried for years, something I did, or something I did not do, that I told myself I would deal with someday. I locked it away in the back of my mind, the same way I locked those cell doors every night. I thought if I did not look at it, it could not hurt me. But a locked door does not disappear the thing behind it. It just keeps it in the dark, growing heavier year after year. I am 91 now. My hands shake when I write this. My wife is gone. My brother is gone. The chance to fix what I broke with them, gone too. I spent 38 years guarding other men's freedom, and I never once stopped to ask myself if I was free. Don't make my mistake. There is something you are avoiding right now. Something you keep telling yourself you will deal with later. A conversation, an apology, a dream you buried under bills and busyness and fear. I am telling you, from the last chapter of a long life, later is a lie we tell ourselves so we don't have to feel afraid today. The worst prison was never the cell. It was the one I built inside myself and never had the courage to leave. Let me take you back. 1958. I was 23 years old, standing outside the gates of that prison for the first time, holding a uniform that felt too heavy for my shoulders. My father had been a farmer. Hard hands, harder silence. He never told me he was proud of me. Not once. So, when I got that job, steady pay, a badge, a purpose, I thought, finally, this is something he cannot ignore. I drove to his house that evening to tell him. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said, "So now, you lock men up for a living." He turned back to his fields. I did not understand it then, but something in me closed that day. A door shut quietly, the kind you don't hear latch until years later. I married young. Her name was Eleanor. She had a laugh that made the whole room lighter. We had 2 children within 4 years. I told myself I was building something good, a family, a future, a name my father would finally respect. But the job changed me. You cannot spend 8 hours a day inside concrete and steel, surrounded by anger and grief and men who had lost everything, and walk out unchanged. I started bringing the walls home with me. Eleanor would ask how my day was. I would say, "Fine." One word, every night, "Fine." She stopped asking after a while. My son used to wait by the window for me to come home. He told me once, years later, that he used to count the minutes. I did not know that then. I was too busy surviving my shifts to notice I was disappearing from his life. There was a kind of pride in the job, too. I will admit that. The men on my block, they respected order. I kept things fair. I broke up fights before they turned to blood. I talked a scared 18-year-old down from doing something he could never take back. I told myself these small mercies made up for everything else I was missing. I thought I was strong because I could walk through violence and stay calm. I did not understand that strength and numbness can look the same from the outside and feel completely different on the inside. By my 10th year, Eleanor and I slept in the same bed like two strangers sharing a room. My son grew distant, my daughter grew quiet, and I told myself, once I retire, once things settle, once the mortgage is paid off, then I will make it right. I thought I had time. There was a guard who trained me, an old man named Walsh. He used to say, "This job will take more from you than it gives, if you let it." I nodded along, but I did not listen. Not really. I thought he was talking about other men, weaker men, not me. I was wrong. Underneath the uniform, underneath the steady paycheck and the routine I was so proud of, cracks were forming, small ones, the kind you don't notice until the whole wall comes down. And it would come down, not all at once, but slowly, the way most important things in a life fall apart, quietly, while you are looking somewhere else. The turning point came on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were quiet at the prison. Nothing ever happened on Tuesdays, until that one did. I was 41 years old. My daughter Marie was 16. She called the facility during my shift, something she had never done before. My supervisor pulled me aside and told me there had been an accident. My son, David, 17 years old, had been in a car crash on his way home from school. I remember running to my car. I remember my hands shaking so badly I could barely get the key in. I remember thinking, this cannot be real. This is not how my life goes. He survived, but barely. 3 months in the hospital, a shattered leg that never healed right, and something inside him that changed too, something quieter, more distant. I sat beside his hospital bed that first night, and for the first time in almost 2 decades, I really looked at him. Not as a responsibility, not as someone I provided for, as a person, my son. Almost gone. He opened his eyes at one point, still half drugged from the surgery, and he said, "Dad, you're here." Like it was a surprise, like it was rare. That broke something in me. I thought about all the nights I came home and said fine, instead of talking. All the school events I missed because of double shifts. All the times he tried to talk to me, and I was too tired, too closed off, too far inside my own walls to hear him. I had spent 18 years guarding other people's freedom, while my own son grew up practically without a father in the room. I went back to work 3 days later. I stood in front of a cell, and for the first time I looked at the man inside it differently. He was maybe 30, in for robbery. He looked at me and said, "You look like hell, guard." I said, "My son almost died." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said something I never forgot. He said, "At least you get to go see him. I got a daughter I haven't seen in 6 years, and I did that to myself." I stood there in silence. 2 men. One behind bars, one in front of them. And in that moment, I could not tell you which one of us was more free. That was the first crack in everything I believed. I had built my whole identity around being the one who watched, the one who controlled, the one who stayed strong while everyone else fell apart. But strength built on distance is not strength. It is just another kind of hiding. David recovered mostly. He walked again, though he limped for the rest of his life, but something between us never fully came back. I had years left to fix it. I told myself I would. I thought I had time. I did not yet understand that the damage of years cannot be undone in months, that trust, once worn thin, does not simply return because you finally show up, that some doors, once closed long enough, grow harder to open every single day they stay shut. I was 41 years old, and for the first time in my life, I understood that I had been guarding the wrong prisoner all along. It was me. Here is the truth I spent decades avoiding. I believed that providing was the same as loving. I believed that being present in the house was the same as being present in a life. I believed that silence was strength, and that staying busy meant staying safe. I was wrong about all of it. Providing without presence is just distance with a paycheck attached. Being in the house is not the same as being known by the people inside it. And silence is not strength. Silence is just fear wearing a calmer face. I thought I was protecting my family by staying steady, by never showing what the job did to me, by keeping my walls high so nothing could get in and nothing could get out. But walls do not choose what they keep out. They keep everything out. The pain, yes, but also the love, also the closeness, also the years. Here is the lesson 38 years behind that badge taught me, and it has nothing to do with prisons at all. Every person is guarding something. You do not need bars to build a cell. You can build one out of routines you never question, out of fear you never name, out of later repeated so many times it becomes the story of your whole life. I thought I had time. I was wrong. Later never came. I say those words now not as regret alone, but as a warning, because I watched hundreds of men come through that facility, and the ones who suffered most were not always the ones behind the bars. Sometimes it was the families outside, waiting for a version of someone that years of silence had already taken from them. You can be free on paper and still be locked away in every way that matters. You can walk wherever you want, eat what you want, sleep in your own bed every night, and still be a prisoner of your own postponement. The lesson is simple, and that is exactly why it is so easy to ignore. What you keep putting off, you are choosing to lose, not all at once, quietly, a day at a time, until one day you look up and the person you meant to call is gone. The apology you meant to give has nowhere left to land. The years you meant to spend together already spent themselves without you. I do not tell you this so you feel sad for an old man. I tell you this because I was you once, certain I had time, certain later was still on the table, certain the door could stay closed just a little longer. It cannot. Whatever you are guarding right now, a fear, a grudge, an apology, a dream, a person you have gone quiet with, that is your cell. And you, only you, hold the key. Don't make my mistake. I am 91 years old. I do not know how many mornings I have left. So let me speak plainly, the way I wish someone had spoken to me 60 years ago. If you are young and you think you have time, you don't. Not as much as you believe. Not as much as it feels like right now. If there is someone you love and you have gone quiet with them, call them today. Not next week. Not when things settle down. Today. If there is a dream you buried under bills and responsibility and fear of failing, dig it back up. You are not too late. You're only too late if you stay buried with it. If you are carrying guilt over something you did or something you failed to do, stop locking it away in the dark. Bring it into the light. Say it out loud to someone. Let it go before it becomes the story of your whole life, the way it became mine. I spent 38 years standing guard over other men's freedom. I did not understand until it was almost too late that the only sentence I was truly serving was the one I handed myself. Every time I chose silence over honesty, routine over risk, later over now. You still have time. I am telling you that not to comfort you, but to warn you. Time feels endless right up until the moment it isn't. I was wrong to think I had time. Don't make my mistake. Whatever door you have been avoiding, open it. Whatever person you have been meaning to call them. Whatever version of your life you have been postponing, start it now, today, this hour. The worst prison was never the cell. It is the one you build yourself, one delay at a time and mistake for safety. Do not spend your whole life guarding a door that was never locked from the outside. You hold the key. You always did.